The Lakers have been awful this season, and nothing they're doing seems to be working. One lineup that has been a major disappointment is playing Anthony Davis at center. Why isn't it working? AD at center is supposed to be some type of cheat code. At least it has been the past couple of seasons. However, that is not his preferred position, and he'd much rather play the 4. Playing center has been more of a last resort, save for the playoffs, secret weapon type of thing. That is until this season when the Lakers got Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is not a great shooter, and if you play another traditional center like Deandre Jordan or Dwight Howard in the lineup, that's going to result in terrible spacing because there are too many players that the defense doesn't have to account for behind the arc. Playing Anthony Davis at center was supposed to fix that. His versatility on both ends of the floor was supposed to improve the spacing and open up lanes for both Russell Westbrook and LeBron James. However, it hasn't worked this season. The main reason is AD can't shoot. He's currently shooting 21% from 3. At one point in the season, he was shooting 16.7%, which is the worst in NBA history for someone with at least 2 attempts per game. When you're shooting that poorly from the 3, the defense isn't going to respect your shot. They can sag off and take away driving lanes because statistically, it's better just to leave you open. Then the whole spacing issue becomes the thing again. But he's not only shooting poorly from 3, he's shooting poorly in general. He has the worst field goal percentage for mid-range shots, and his mid-range shot is a big part of his game. He has the worst field goal percentage for jump shots overall at 33.1%. And he's the least efficient jump shooter, averaging only 0.71 points per attempt. That's not going to cut it. He basically doesn't have a jump shot this season, which essentially makes him just another traditional center like Dwight and Deandre, at least on the offensive end, which is why playing him at center hasn't solved any of their offensive issues. Defensively, he's still great. He's still a cheat code. He can still guard all positions. But the Lakers have still been terrible. Their defense is probably their biggest issue this season. The problem is with the rest of the team. When you play AD at center, it's because you want to be able to switch everything. AD is the size of a center, but he can move like a guard. But when you want to switch everything, you also need to have the appropriate lineup to do so. Typically, these lineups consist of mostly wings because these players tend to be about the same size. They can move quickly enough and have the size to guard most positions they end up switching on. Other than LeBron, the Lakers have no wings. Their only other wing is Ariza, who's currently injured. So the rest of the lineup are pretty much guards, small guys. So when they're switching everything, AD switches to a smaller man, which is something he can handle. But now the man he was originally guarding is switched to another Laker who is the size of a point guard. There's no way a guy like Avery Bradley or Malik Monk can handle that mismatch. Also, when they switch and bring AD out to the perimeter, there's no one to guard the rim except, you guessed it, small guards. And even if somehow they manage to contest the shot at the rim, they're outmatched in both strength and size, so they will often give up the offensive board. This is why the Lakers are giving up so many points. It baffles my mind how we don't have more wings. This roster is so poorly constructed. It's not suited to play Vogel's style, or really any style in the modern NBA. Anthony Davis is a generational talent, and his versatility opens up a lot of opportunities on the basketball court. But when one of those skills, a really important one like shooting, isn't working, then that limits what you can do. His shooting is historically bad, so I don't think that will last. He can only get better from here. He's likely going to shoot closer to his career average, and that should open up things on offense. But on the defensive end, if they don't surround him with better defenders, or at least bigger defenders, then his defensive talent will be wasted.